welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. and I make videos all about the journey of starting a candle business. And today I am just going to be discussing my thoughts on printing your own candle labels from home versus using a printing service online where they make and ship it to you. Now, I do want to preface this video and let you know that I have not actually used a professional printing service before for my personal candle labels, but it is something that I am looking into. So I just kind of wanted to discuss a couple things, some pros and cons of doing each so that you can make the best decision for you and your business. So let's just start off with what I am most familiar with, which is printing labels at home. Now, this definitely comes with its own pros and cons. There are things that I like about it, and again, things that I don't like about it. And one thing that you do need to know if you want to print out your own candle labels from home is that you do need to have a printer. This is a non-negotiable. You have to have a printer. And honestly, as long as it can print color, if your candle labels require color, I think that you can just get started with a relatively inexpensive inkjet printer, which is what I did in the very beginning. I got started with, I think it was like $50 from Target at the time. This was years ago. But I think you can get a decent one for between $80 and $100. I do use a color laser jet printer now for all of my printing needs. But that's definitely not required. I think this thing was like $400 or $500. That is not required at all to get started. But I wanted to have something that could print a lot more labels a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently, which is what this does. So with printing labels at home, the biggest pro that I think, and the reason why I have printed all of my labels myself, is I get, first of all, full control of what labels are printed, how many of each label is printed. If I'm adding scents, if I no longer am going to be selling a scent, I don't have to have any more of those labels printed, which is another reason why I don't actually have tons and tons of pre-printed labels available at all times in my filing cabinet. I really only have maybe 1 to 3 sheets of pre-printed labels in that scent, just because I know myself and I know that for the longest time I was changing up things on my labels. So if you are somebody who changes up things on your labels, maybe you're changing up the fonts or the layout, or you're not 100% sure if this is the design that you want to go with, then you probably are going to be like me and want to print your own labels out at home so that you have full control and you're not wasting money on labels that are never going to be used. And I do think that for the most part, printing your own candle labels from home can be a more cost-effective way to do it, especially if you use an inkjet printer, because trust me, ink is so much more affordable than toner. So I think that that is a more cost-effective way than having somebody else print it, because you are also paying for that labor as well. However, on the con side of everything, if you think about your own labor of having to print out all of these labels, which, trust me, there's been many times where I have my laptop, I'm standing up in the kitchen doing something, and I'm going through waiting for all of them to print out because I have different ones that I need to print out, and I only have a few that I have on hand at all times, so I'll need to go through frequently and get them printed out. So that is definitely something that you have to consider as well in the con section of, is it actually more cost effective when you add in your time of doing all that, and also the quality of your actual labels is something that you need to consider as well, especially if you are somebody who is wanting a lot of color or labels that could potentially be cut off or be not aligned. I know that I'm sure so many of you have dealt with alignment issues. That is probably the #1 con about printing out your own labels from home, is the amount of work initially that it takes to understand the alignment, and the actual quality of your labels might not be good, considering the printer that you have may not be the best. It'll work in the beginning, and that's again what I did. But if you're wanting to eventually move forward and having more professional kind of labels, that I could definitely see the printing service being a better option. Which leads me right into the pros and cons of getting your labels professionally printed. Now, you could essentially say the pros of printing at home is the cons of getting them professionally printed, and then vice versa. So essentially, when you get it professionally printed, it is typically going to cost more, but also you have to make sure that that is the design that you are going to be using long-term for your candles, and that there's nothing else that you want to adjust with it. You also have to make sure that there's no spelling errors, anything like that. So for me, I feel like for the longest time, I was changing up my labels so much. And now I've kind of come to a point where I'm okay and comfortable and confident in knowing that I'm going to have the same label design for a long time. So that's why I've been more interested in looking into a professional printing service. Now, I know that there are tons of different services online, and my first thought was to go with online labels because that's where I get my labels from anyways. Not sponsored, by the way. I know they sometimes sponsor me. This video is not. This is just the information that I've been researching. I know there's also Lightning labels, Frontier labels. There's a bunch of different labeling services. But again, with online labels, what I like about it is if I just wanted to try them out just to see what it looks like when they print out my labels, when they professionally print it out, I can just buy one sheet and try it out. Yeah, it's probably gonna be like $25, $30, but at least I can test it out before having to buy like over 50 sheets or 100 whatever labels. I really like that aspect because, again, I just want to make sure that it's going to be worth the money to be able to do that. And what I decided to do was actually break it down and see how much more it would actually be to buy the exact same size labels on the exact same kind of label paper to have them professionally print it for me. So what I did was I went onto online labels and I saw that my label size that I use, which is 2.5 inch by 3 inch, and I use the weatherproof paper laser. And for 100 sheets, which is 900 labels, it cost me $60.11 to buy that blank sheets, which equals to about, it's like 6 or 7 cents. So it's $0.0667 a label. And then what I did was I went over to their printing service section and I clicked on the exact same size, the exact same type of label paper, same quantity for 100 sheets, 900 labels. It would cost me $149.89 to have them printed out for me, which equates to about 16 or 17 cents a label. So realistically, it's 10 cents more a label to have a printing service print it and ship it to me. And I thought, is that worth it? And to me, 10 cents, like, yeah, but 10 cents definitely adds up. But am I adding in my labor and all of that into the cost of me printing out the labels? And also, I didn't include the toner and all that goes into it. So it's definitely something that I'm really interested in doing. I've been, again, thinking about it for so long, and I'm so curious to hear if any of you have switched over to getting your labels professionally printed. If you regret it, if you like it, if you wish you did it sooner, which company do you use? I want to know. Please tell me down in the comment section below, or tell me if you print it at home and what printer you use and what paper do you use and all that kind of stuff. I just want to know because I find it really interesting. And again, I love printing my labels out at home, and that's something that I love that I know how to do. I think that it's a skill and something that, in case you ever run out of the professionally printed labels, then you'd just be able to print them out yourself at home. But again, I'm just very curious to try it out. So I'll probably order a couple and then do a follow-up video and do maybe like a comparison side to side and see if it's even worth it. See if it looks any different, if it's better quality and kind of the difference of it. And I think that would be a really, really interesting video. But anyways, I think I'm going to end today's video right here. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave it a big thumbs up as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at MemoryBoxCandleCo. And I will see you in my next video.